This is my dog Finn. He's my dog, and his name is Finn. He's walking away now. I've just stated two facts. I know they are true because A, I remember picking Finn out as a puppy, and my wife and I have raised him ever since. And B, we named him, and he responds to that name. If you were to tell me, actually his name is Howard and he's not my dog, I'd say, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. So, by saying this, I'm making a truth claim. It is true that Finn is my dog. I have knowledge of that fact. But what is truth? What is knowledge? These are questions that we'll be exploring in this unit. Bear with me though, because this video, as a response to the first question, is going to be a bit of a rant. So it's important to recognize that whether we know it or not, we all have a concept of the truth. We know there's a difference between the truth and a lie. If I said, I'm an imposter, I'm actually not a teacher at all, I've kidnapped the real Mr. Nicholson and stolen his identity, well, that would be a lie. Well, maybe it's a lie, or maybe it's the truth. Actually, only I can know for certain. Similarly, you know in most cases whether you are telling the truth or lying. At the very least, we can say that there is a difference between lying and telling the truth. We can make that distinction. Okay, so in my experience, students are often reluctant to make truth claims in philosophy, to say definitively that a belief they hold is true. In essays, I often find arguments that are qualified with phrases like, in my opinion, or my own personal view is that. First of all, I'd like to say that you should probably try to avoid those phrases. Second of all, I can think of a couple reasons why you might use those phrases. Perhaps because of the Russell excerpt at the beginning of the course. The idea is that philosophy has trouble providing certain uncontroversial answers to questions. So the conclusion some students come to is that this means no one is able to claim anything is true, and every opinion is equally valid. I want to say right off the bat that this is a mistake. As harsh as this may sound, every opinion is not equally valid. If a young child and an expert mathematician were to provide different solutions to a math problem, for instance, whose opinion would you bet on? Whose opinion would you bet your life on? Clearly, the mathematician knows more about math than a young child. It's not just a difference of opinion. And we can extend that logic to other areas of knowledge. I've heard students say, my truth is this or that, but I think that this misunderstands the very meaning of truth as a concept that is distinct from belief or mere opinion. If something is true, it's not just true for you, it's true, period. It is uncontroversial, for instance, that 2 + 2 = 4. No one would disagree. And even if someone did disagree, you can't say, well, my truth is that 2 + 2 = 5, but you are free to believe that 2 + 2 = 4. No one is disputing the freedom of belief here. Of course, in a liberal democracy, people are free to believe whatever they want. But some beliefs are right and others are wrong. Some beliefs are logical and others are insane. It's not always easy to tell the difference between the two, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a difference. The issue is that both cannot be right. 2 + 2 cannot equal both 4 and 5. It only equals 4, and that's the end of it. You may remember the principle we covered in Unit 1 called the law of non-contradiction, first articulated by Aristotle. This principle is essential for logic and philosophy and even thinking in general. So that's the key right there. If everyone's personal truth were true, then no one would ever be wrong about anything. This cannot be right. It must be possible for people to be wrong about their own beliefs. That's why we have the concept of truth in the first place. Now, in the 1600s, Galileo Galilei used math and a telescope to prove that the Copernican heliocentric model of the solar system was correct. The Earth travels around the sun and not the other way around. This is a major deal, and a lot of people did not believe him, particularly the Catholic Church. But we can say that beyond a reasonable doubt, Galileo was right. The geocentric model of the universe is wrong. The Earth, in fact, travels around the sun and not the other way around. Still, I cannot believe it. My students last semester found a YouTube channel of a dead serious flat Earth documentary. So it seems there's a popular belief out there that anything can be true. But if we claim this, then A, as we said, it is impossible to be wrong about anything. B, it is impossible to acquire knowledge about anything. And C, it is self-contradictory, as it is equivalent to saying it is absolutely true that there is no absolute truth. Well, that's it. That's my rant. You can respond to it in the weekly Q&A. As long as you are honest and genuine in your response, the cardinal rule. But we'll also explore this idea and many others throughout the unit. Adios.